Ah, the Ibis HD6. So many of you have asked about this bike, and I'm very excited to be riding it. But at the same time, I am who I am. I run an entire YouTube channel that basically facades as a mountain bike review site, but really just shows me riding my bike having a lot of fun. This video will be no different. I guess we will talk about the bike quite a bit, but let's snap in and enjoy a really fun trip. Let's get after it.
That's a great jump.
Ibis loaned me a brand new Mojo HD6. Awesome. I've been having a lot of fun in this thing, riding it locally, but to be kind of frank, I'm a little bored with our local trails. They're fantastic, but I've been riding them a lot. So let's jam up on this whole contraption, go north across the border, hop on a boat, and go check out the Coast Gravity Park. Beyond that, I've never been to the whole Sunshine Coast, so might as well cruise the coast and try some other spots. I got my whole to-do list here. There's like 4 categories: moto gear, camp gear, mountain bike gear, vlogging gear. Believe it or not, the first item on my mountain bike to-do list is to adjust my tire pressure. I remember this valve core is kind of on its last leg.
See how bent that is? This whole trip could be derailed by flat front tires.
I have all these Santa Cruz Fillmore valves, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw a Fillmore in here so I don't have to deal with this on the road. Man, that valve stem swap was way easier than I expected. If you enjoy riddle solving, well, you too might enjoy trying to fit all those categories of gear upon one singular motorcycle. In case you're not familiar with the bicycle, that's Ibis's new HD6. It's a huge bike, 180 millimeters of front travel and 165 millimeters of rear travel with a mullet wheel setup.
This place is not very far from the States, from Vancouver. You just got to take a ferry.
2, 3, or 4.
Thank you. Hello.
Yeah, going to Lingo?
I'm sorry, yeah, Gibson's. The ferries are like complicated in the summer. They sell out. You gotta wait for a while to get on one, whatever. You should bring a motorcycle. You get to go to the front of the line. It's cheaper than it would cost to coming over in a car.
If you want to learn more about the Ibis HD6, I'll put a link just underneath the LMNT link where you can pop over to Jensen USA and learn all about the details of the HD6. Anything you purchase will also help support my videos.
So the new Ibis HD6, everyone's all excited about new bikes. New bikes are a lot of fun, and I really like a new bike because it makes my usual trails feel totally different. In this case, I would not have come up here to the Sunshine Coast if I didn't have this new HD6 with me. Back in the day, I took motivation from racing to go out and go to these cool new places and experience them, and that was one of my favorite parts about racing. Hello.
Hi.
How are the jumps running?
Just the small ones are running good.
Make my day, break my day.
That's right, the big jumps were shut down, so that's okay. I'll have to get a proper warm-up this way.
Thanks. There's quite the jump line here. Oh, this is pretty sizable. I like it. This thing's like 8 feet off the deck. Proper landing. Nice. Way more jumps than I imagined. So I was popping around trail forks and looked like there's a skills park thing here, and sure enough, there really is. With this big old HD6, I might as well drop in and give it a go, because I feel like this bike can handle a lot of this. Let's see if I can handle it. Don't go too big. The HD6 is also a little bit gnarlier than any bike I've ridden recently. A 180 mil front end, like that's big.
So back in the day when I was working at Ibis, we did sell the Mojo HD160, which came with the 180 fork option. So up to now, that was the biggest bike Ibis ever offered. Now the HD6 is indeed the biggest bike Ibis has ever offered.
The lens doesn't really look dirty, but man, it is dark. Well, let's drop it in. See how the HD6 does when you can't even see the trail. It's so friggin' dark. The bike feels like it's a big bike. A lot of these trails are kind of too tight and too slow and too flat for something this big. So maybe tomorrow I'll find some more elevation at the Coast Gravity Park. I think I will. And some of the trails further up the coast should be a bit bigger. This zone is more like jumps and lower angle terrain. So probably more like
this for the jumps, or if you want to ride the lower angle terrain stuff, like something like a Ripley AF would be really cool, and a lot of that tighter, techier stuff. In the video, it probably just looks like a grainy sea of pixels because it's dark.
On these motorcycle, mountain bike, camp out combo trips, I'm often doing a lot. Tons of physical exertion, a lot of it's out in the sun. It ends up being a sweat fest. I found that in the battle of being properly hydrated, it's pretty critical that you take care of your electrolyte depletions. So as you're sweating, your body's sweating out sodium, magnesium, potassium, the essential electrolytes that helps your brain send those electrical signals out to all your muscles. You don't want to be out on top of a mountain and then cramp up. No fun. I've been lucky enough to partner with the folks over at LMNT who make a really simple electrolyte supplement. The stuff's just straight up sodium, potassium, magnesium, tiny bit of stevia. And I put one of these in my water bottle. It helps me go a lot further with one bottle. For a limited time, LMNT's offering a free sample pack with any purchase through my link. It's drinklmnt, lmnt.com/Jeff, Jeff. And that offer is valid your first, second, third, however many times until they decide to end the promotion. So I've got that linked down in the YouTube description below. Today we're drinking the citrus salt flavor, and let's pedal out for a quick ride from camp. But first, let's make a quick bottle of LMNT. Stay salty, everyone.
I had to find a quick campsite, so I came up here to the Forest Service Road network and just, found a sketchy little road and found a spot of grass. So here we are. I'm all set up. It's about bedtime, so with that, I think I'm going to sign off. Get you some more ride impressions of the HD6 tomorrow at the Coast Gravity Park. See you guys in the comments and tomorrow morning.
Good morning. Let's go ride the bike park. It's kind of wet in here. Despite the damp tent, spirits are pretty high, because this was the big day that I was going to finally ride the Coast Gravity Park for the first time ever. And I've been hearing about this park for a good 20 years now.
I think that's an ocean view normally, but right now it's too smoky to see the ocean.
For camping in Canada, I normally just find Forest Service roads, then kind of post up wherever, ideally not next to a giant dump. Now, can you guys spot the bear?
First bear sighting of the trip.
Oh my goodness, today was one of the best moto mountain bike combo days I've ever had, bar none. No, I'm not very good at wheeling motorcycles, but this is one of the longest stand-up wheelies I've done on the 890 thus far. Well, the bike park ended up being amazing. I'd already done everything online, so I just kind of like rode down the dirt road to get there, which is super chill, like a Ford Taurus could do it, or your choice of subcompact commuter vessel.
Wait, 2 ticks. Hang on, Jess. I'm gonna get a picture of you.
Oh, sure. Go right ahead.
Mate, maybe we can get you on the Instagram. Job's done.
Yeah.
Maybe come in and register me.
Mate, that's brilliant. What, you on a KTM?
Yeah.
Mate, that's nice.
Thanks. I did a bunch of other bikes over the last few years, and this is like the first time I actually spent real money.
What else have you had?
V-Strom 1000, Africa Twin, KTM 1090.
Alright.
Yeah, DRZ 400, a whole bunch. Made it to the Coast Gravity Park. I've seen this place in media for almost 20 years now. Got my ticket. Let's go get on the shuttle. Loading up. Good, you guys sleep okay? Yeah. I was loading up to get out of your campsite and I could hear snoring and I'm like, shit, it's only 8:30.
Nice. We had a big day yesterday.
Yeah. I'm Jeff.
Natalie.
Natalie, nice to meet you.
Tim.
Tim, nice to meet you.
Terry.
Oh, sweet. Well, what's your name?
Tim.
Tim.
Yeah, makes sense.
Let's check it out. First run down Coastal Cruise, the world famous jump trail, and I realized it's a good thing to go through and look at things before you send them blindly. Because this very first substantial hip jump, check out what it's got in the middle of the landscape. Oh, big hole. Big ol' hole in that hip lander. It's hard to tell from the video, but Tim here was the fellow that was camped out with his girlfriend Natalie right at the base of the Skills Park from the night before. Small mountain bike world. Pretty straightforward.
Big jumps down.
I'm sure it works, but
I'm sure it works too.
these roll no problem.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Thanks.
Yeah, and it seems like I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I've hit thousands of jumps.
I follow you guys. You know what you're doing. Good luck.
Thanks, you too. Should be fine.
I didn't die. Yeah, it works pretty good. It's like a slight hip to the right, just a little, which is natural for the berm. Whoa, that's a committer. Oh, and then another big giant jump.
Yeah.
You corner right directly after it?
Yeah, it's actually not super long.
The jump, it doesn't look very long.
No, it's not. It's,
It looks like half the size of the other one.
yeah, hard to tell what's next.
Yeah.
Those jumps work pretty good. Did you hit the hip into the turn?
I hit the step up and then the next hit, and then that step up works really nice.
It's just hard to look at. I'm totally blind and be like, oh, yeah.
I wanted to include a bunch of jump footage because I have not been riding many jumps here in Bellingham this summer. A bunch of our bigger lines were closed for various events and trail rebuilding projects, so this was kind of cool to get back on the old horse, and the HD6 is kind of the right bike to build up the confidence for that sort of thing.
Thank you.
The other day I posted a video of riding the Yeti SP160 and the Orbea Rayon, both at Whistler Bike Park. And man, I felt kind of beat up from that day with such high-speed trails on, you know, somewhat ordinary trail bikes. And it's a whole different experience than riding this stuff on downhill bikes like it's often intended to be ridden with. The HD6 still felt pretty appropriate for all this, perhaps bigger than those other bikes, but I'll do a separate video that compares the HD6 to the rest of the bikes in the enduro, heavy-duty landscape. Riding with Jonah here and his wife Frankie visiting from Kelowna, it was super fun. I haven't seen a Rocky Mountain in the flesh in a little while now, so it's fun to be reminded about my favorite all-time bike, the Rocky Mountain Altitude. I wish I'd ridden one recently to give a fair comparison to the HD6.
That was rad. Thanks, Jonah. Cool, yeah. Put them out of business. I'm Jeff.
Oh, Trevor.
Trevor, nice to meet you.
Bike park was a ton of fun. It's not the world's biggest bike park, so I had a fun day there, and I definitely recommend it for a day. But I don't know if I'd want to ride it for a lot more than like 1 or 2 days. It's just a little small, but there's tons of spots in this whole area to ride. So if you have like a bike like the HD6, like a heavy duty trail bike that can handle some jumpier things, definitely it can do all this stuff around here. Well, the Gravity Park was good. High-speed trails, big hit trails. The bike felt very appropriate. I didn't really want any less bike while smashing around there, and I haven't really modified this thing at all. Bone stock. I haven't really messed with the volume reducers or anything yet.
Oh, I should have gone for that.
I'm riding clipped in. My riding style is a little bit different than my flat pedal normal setup. But yeah, the bike felt great in the bike park.
That was a big bike moment right there.
I don't know how many laps I did, but it wasn't enough because I'm still standing and I'm not sore. I'm a little sore, but I should be more exhausted.
I remember seeing famous people do tricks on that very wall ride, which is attached to an old school steam shovel behind it. And yeah, this is the place. The Fest Series Backwoods Jam happens over there. Shuttle pickup and the moto.
Tim and I walked through a bunch of the Coastal Cruise stuff and hit it, which was fun.
Yeah, nice.
Since 2019, I've exclusively been a flat pedal rider. Now, unfortunately, a couple weeks ago, I was riding with another famous YouTuber and I caught my toe on a root. Well, you can guess what happened. It broke the poor toe right where it meets my foot. Now, the doctor said I have to walk with very stiff shoes, and sure enough, the prescribed shoe is not nearly as stiff as a clipless shoe, so in order to follow doctor's orders, I've only been riding and walking with heavy-duty clipless shoes or moto boots, hence the need to ride with clipless pedals.
HD6, very appropriate bike for this kind of place. HD6, definitely, it's a big bike, but for a place like this, that kind of works. A lot of big jumps here, very well built, a little lippier, and you know, this thing does jump really, really well. I was able to pump and generate a lot of speed on just like the slight roller downhills to clear everything, no problem, so that was cool. Occasional over clears, I wasn't bottoming it out super violently, and on the takeoffs, they're somewhat lippy, not crazy looking, but I wasn't bottoming on the takeoffs, so that was cool. I did use full travel front and rear, but never in a bad way. And there's a couple of more like trails. They're kind of smashy for all the traffic, but yeah, big bike felt good on that. never really felt too big for today. All right, time to load up because I got to get out of here in the next like 20 minutes. Thank you, have a good one.
The next responsibility was to head north and catch yet the next ferry to go further up the Sunshine Coast. So let me know in the comments. Did you see what I saw here, and would you have done the same thing following this guy up to the front of the line? Let me know.
Still room for bikes?
No, not at this point. He lives here. He's just going home.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're gonna have to swing around back to wherever you were in the lineup there, and we'll get you on towards the end if there's room.
If there's room. Cool. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
I kept meeting the nicest people on this trip, and that's a great example right there. I blew it by bypassing the line on the wrong side of the road, but it's not a big deal. Folks are just so friendly in this part of the world. Motoed up this road and like kind of using the map a little bit, made my way towards the lake, and lo and behold, found this campsite. I just kind of motoed off the main track a little bit, not far, just to get away from the campers and the RVs and all that. And yeah, jumped in the lake, went for a nice refreshing swim, and now I'm really tired from not sleeping much last night, riding my bike most of the day, and motorcycling a short but spirited distance to catch a ferry. I'll catch up with all of you in the morning. Peace and wheels. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I think the whole point of camping is simply drinking coffee in the morning in the forest. All right, camp, I'm going for a quick pedal. I'll see you in a little bit. Hope this is all here when I get back. Pedaling through the forest I go. Here we go. God, I wonder what kind of just miserable death climb awaits around this next bend. We shall find out. So the climb hasn't been too gnarly. I did flip the climb switch on the X2 shock, which certainly helped. The bike doesn't pedal as perfectly as like a Ripmo. Seating position and all that's great for climbing on the HD6. Let's rally this down to camp. In case it's not obvious, this terrain is completely different from the bike park. I aired down the tires from bike park pressure. Man, they feel so much better. Awkward. This bike is too big for this trail. I don't fit in one of the tight little bits. It's not a bad experience, but this is more like a Ripley AF type trail. Considering this creek feeds a drinking water reservoir, I feel pretty good about this. We're on the right trail. It's good to hear. This part is way better for bikes than the top part. Oh, right pedal right into a rock. Wonder if it broke it. I hope not. Did I just bend my pedal? Yeah, whoa. That pedal, either the crank arm or the pedal is now super bent. Cool. A little too big of a bike to get through there. But the bike was great when the trail was more free ridey and downhill, so. I just had to record this little section
because it's so lush and green. This trail I'm catching a bunch of pedals on. This is rougher than anything I've pedaled thus far. And it is a reminder that this is more of an enduro race bike than like a ride everything bike. Yep, that's my tent. Cool. All right, back where we started. Oh man, awesome. Cool, so now we got time to go for a quick dip, eat some food, take a little break, pack up, and go find some more mountain bike trails. On the way though, I think I'm gonna go out for lunch. I'm starving. Goodbye, beautiful campsite. For real, it's the best campsite I've ever had.
Even with the bone stock double down tires, the bike is pretty light overall. It's even lighter than the bikes I generally go trail riding with. Does that really matter that much? I kind of think geometry and suspension performance matters more, but it's kind of interesting that such a burly big bike can be so light. It's certainly not a downside. Just don't pretend that it's only a light duty trail bike.
Hello.
Howdy.
How are you?
Good.
Cool.
What do you got here?
I got the mountain bike on back.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I
I've seen this for a long time.
took a few days off work to just come up and check out this new bike on a few new trails. I live down in Bellingham, so.
Power is off. It's been off for the last hour, but what's weird is like all of southern BC's power is off all of a sudden, including the island. So something's going on. Coffee shop, just got a burrito, delicious, great lunch. I'm gonna go ride more. The guy working here said he has a spare can of fuel for my stove, which means I should have enough fuel for coffee in the morning, breakfast in the morning, and maybe even dinner tonight. So,
Dude, that's perfect.
Yeah, it's like pretty much full.
Oh my goodness. Oh my god, yeah. Thank you so much.
No worries, man.
Break, I appreciate
It's
it.
good to meet you, Jeff.
Yeah.
And have a sick trip. It looks like you're good to go, eh? You're bugging out right now.
So the power outage in town is pretty significant. It's been going on for a couple hours, and there's a campground down here, like a proper one close to the lake and everything, but it costs money and I don't have enough Canadian dollars to stay there. So I'm gonna camp probably somewhere on this road, not on the lake, but close. But first, I think it's important to go mountain biking. So let's load up the bicycle and head up into the woods and hit some trail. This right here is where the Mojo HD6 absolutely shines. It was built for steep terrain like this, where you're just smashing through things, trying to stay off the brakes while also simultaneously trying to survive. This is what Enduro World Series, now known as EDR racing, is all about. It's all about charging down a handful of stages like this over the course of a large pedal-y day. The HD6 is purpose-built for this kind of stuff, and it really shows. It absolutely excels at thrashing down double black diamond single track. The biggest question I have about the bike, and someone's gonna buy it or not, is do you have terrain of this caliber that you can ride consistently? While the bike is amazing for this, at the same time, you do end up a little overgunned for some of the mellower things. That's kind of a personal preference, opinion base. I did enjoy hitting some of this stuff with full confidence, which I definitely would not do on a smaller bike, even like the Ripmo. Earlier on, I said that I kind of pretend that my channel is all about bike reviews. I mean, this is such a subjective thing about where a bike performs best. What I really like might be different than what you really like. So I'm sharing my opinions here, and I don't think there is such a thing as a true quote-unquote review. I think it's important someone tries a bike out and just talks about if they enjoyed it or not, what they thought it did well, what it didn't do well, that sort of thing. At the end of the day, though, I really want to go back and ride this trail again. This was a ton of fun. A motorcycle still here. Oh, glad the moto's still here. It's supposed to be hot as Dickens this whole trip, and of course, raindrops. And I wore my mesh jacket. So maybe I'll camp down there. We'll see how it goes with dinner and everything. I got a mosquito biting me already. The more in there I am, the more mosquitoes. 45 minutes till sundown, but big old dark clouds rolled in, and it is dark out. I got my headlamps, I can see better. It's like 8 o'clock right now. It's raining. Not a ton, but it's raining. Right now I'm making some dinner. The plan is pearled couscous and then throw a couple of sausages on there. Some spinach that I got stashed away. Hopefully it's still good. And then that'll be a filling dinner for tonight, and hopefully I can dispose of it so the bears don't find it.
Speaking of bears, here's probably a very not correct way to stash your food away from the bears. Up and over a tree branch.
Just made dinner. Got some couscous with some spinach and some spicy jalapeno chicken sausage. I'm gonna eat this right here by this tree. And then it's bedtime. I'd show you in wide angle, but the image quality is much worse. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Let's head back home, but maybe mountain bike first. Oatmeal with sausage and trail mix.
You guys know if the power is back on in town?
I mean, we're like a little bit out of town, but there was power.
There was, like yesterday or today?
Yeah, yesterday it went out for us, and then it came back in like a couple hours.
Okay, cool. I gotta get ferries. I don't know if I could get ferries with power being off.
Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, I went out for dinner last night in town.
Oh,
so,
cool.
Yeah, should
Cool.
be good.
Awesome. I'm kind of trying to decide right now. I'm just gonna park somewhere around here because I don't think it goes all that far down, does it?
It goes down to like the, it goes like halfway.
Halfway to the road.
road,
I saw your guys' Highlander or whatever down there.
Yeah.
Like, oh, people are riding bikes. Power probably back on.
yeah, it's good. How do you like the 890?
It's cool. It's like, maybe I'll see you guys on the trail.
Cool, sounds good.
Thanks for the beta.
Yeah, you bet. Enjoy.
Helmet's disgusting sweaty from the last 2 days of mountain biking. I saw some fresh bear droppings over on the road, so I hope the bike is okay. It doesn't really have food on it, but there are some wrappers. I don't know, these are just black bears. They're not like ravenous grizzlies. At least the bears I've seen so far this trip have all been black. And the poops have all had lots of blackberries in them. Out of sight, out of mind. Now let's get up and ride. Look at that. I've heard about this trail before. Cool. Hello and good morning. Let's go for a mountain bike ride. Climb up here was pretty mellow and enjoyable compared to what I did yesterday at least. This trail is supposed to be rockier and jankier, a bit more of an experience, and hopefully it'll have some views. Last ride of the trip, knock on wood. Keep it smooth and safe. Well, let's try the HD6 out on some rockier stuff and jankier stuff. Yeah, let's do it. So this bike is still a bit much, but I can ram things. There we go. That was phenomenal. My favorite ride of the trip actually was that one today. Sweet. HD6 is a big bike for a lot of that stuff, but then when it gets a little bit steeper and faster, you can just lean back and let it go. Then it becomes the right bike. You know, when you get some elevation, this bike works out good through this stuff. When it's flatter, yeah, it's a bit of work. Get a little frustrated with how slack and gnarly this bike is when it's like a flatter trail. Not even sure which tighter turns. Caught that time. But it's okay. There's other bikes for those kind of trails. When it is more of a get some portion of the trail, I find myself going for quite a few little gaps and stuff on the HD6 that I probably wouldn't on a smaller bike. So give or take a little bit. Right. I did notice on this last ride, the HD6 really likes to be ridden on the front wheel. Not like a nose wheelie, but like a lot of weight forward. More so than the Ripmo and especially the Ripley. So getting that far forward, it's just a whole new style for me. I'm not used to it. I probably gotta practice that more to get good at it. Gosh dang it. Caught my pedal on that root right there. Oh, that guy. Glad I'm okay. Glad I didn't smash my head into that tree. I ride pretty rear wheel heavy in general, and that's not riding a mullet bike to its strength. The small rear wheel, it doesn't roll bad, but it doesn't roll quite as smooth through the rough as a bigger wheel. So I found myself getting a little bit more hung up on some stuff than I thought I would. On the flip side, this rear suspension is definitely better when it comes to getting after it than prior Ibis design. So yeah, that does help with the rear wheel size, but it's just something to consider.
So if it wasn't so steep, these real tight corners would be a real handful on such a big bike. Because I can lean the bike though. They work out okay. Ooh, now we see the view. Wow. I'll sacrifice yet another jump for a view. That's a great jump. A little out of control. Calm it down, buddy. That 180 fork does feel pretty matched for this bike. For a pure get her done race bike, I haven't ridden anything thus far that's this much fun and this capable when it gets gnarly. There we go. Yoo-hoo-hoo.
If you want to learn more about the Mojo HD6, I'm going to link to it over at Jensen USA down in the description below, and anything you happen to purchase from that link will also help support my channel, so thanks in advance for supporting me that way.
Cool. Honestly, this was the mountain bike experience I was after when I came here to the Sunshine Coast. Oh man, that trail's making me smile. That was too much fun. Yoo-hoo! Yes! That was great. Perfectly spaced.
I did just do a whole bunch of trail riding here around the coast on this thing and had a great time. So, just to show you how versatile it is. I need to load up and head home. 2 ferries to go and quite a bit of pavement. Well, I love you all. Thank you for tuning in and watching this video. If you like this, hit that subscribe button down below. I don't get to do enough of these moto mountain bike videos. They take a lot of time away from family and stuff, and they're a lot of effort. But I've had a lot more fun on this one than the last few. I really like this trip. I got the motorcycle more set up better, and I got the bicycle that worked for this area, and it was good. I'm really thankful for this. Big thanks to Ibis for loaning me the bike. Thanks to all of you for being here, and I'll see you in the comments. Peace and wheelies, everyone. See you later.